Let's see. All right, we do start broadcast.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Alrighty, hello folks. So it's just a minute or so after 2 o'clock, so we're going to get going here. Let's see, we've got about 15 people on the line. If you can, there's a button for raising your hand. If you can hear me and see the Introducing LessonLive slide, would you just hit the raise your hand button so I can see that we're actually getting out to people? Awesome. Okay, cool. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and get started then. I'm Elmer Masters, the Director of Technology for CALI. I have a little bit of a cold today, so I'm hoping that this works out all right. I'm joined today also by Sam Goshorn, who's our programmer, who's actually done like a lot of really cool magical things that I'm going to be showing. Say hi, Sam.
Hello.
There's Sam. So we're going to be introducing you to LessonLive, which is a new set of features that we have that I think you're going to find pretty exciting. The way that this is going to go, first of all, I don't anticipate using up the whole hour, unless you have a lot of questions, in which case we'll be more than happy to stick around and answer any questions you have. I'm going to go through a few slides with some background stuff, and then we're going to take a shot at a live demo. Hopefully the live demo works. I do have some screenshots to use in case the live demo doesn't work. I'm really concerned mostly about weird things happening, like my network connection dropping or something like that could mess up the demo. The code itself is fine. It's the internet we have to worry about. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So we're just going to kind of jump right in. So the LessonLive features actually build on top of our LessonLink features, and LessonLink is important. LessonLink is the service that allows you to create custom trackable URLs for lessons. So you can create lesson links on the website, and then take a look at the or send them out to your students rather, and the students can then run the lesson links, and you can see the results of the students' results of the students' work. We've had this feature for a number of years. The reporting on it's always been kind of not exactly what everybody's looking for. So we've added some features this year, including the ability to get more detailed lesson reports out of it, which are based on the work that we did for LessonLive. So I'll talk about that more in a minute. We also added the ability to clone a set of lesson links for a new course, so that folks that use the same ones year after year will be able to just make a copy of them, so they don't have to sort of sift through like prior year's stuff or make a whole new set or anything like that. So that's available. And I also took some of there were a lot of words on the screen, and we put them under a little help drop down so that you don't have to look at them unless you really want to. But LessonLink again sits at the center of the LessonLive stuff. So you have to use LessonLink to create a set of links that can then be used with LessonLive. One of the things that gets generated from the LessonLink set is a little page that essentially is a little course page for that gathers all of the lesson links together. When using LessonLive, the best way to give the links to your students is to send them the URL for this particular page, for the CALI course page. And then that way you'll know that they're all starting with just the right link from the right place. There are some issues with embedding lesson links inside of things like Word documents. Try not to do that. Or inside of Blackboard, for example, can also cause problems. So the easiest way for your students to get at the lesson links to use for LessonLive will be to go through the course page. We'll probably also be adding more features to this page coming up to sort of make it a little bit more useful for you and for your students. So LessonLive. So what LessonLive does is it allows you to use your CALI lessons in the classroom or not in the classroom, depending on sort of where you're at. I mean, it was posited the other day by my colleague Deb Quintel about what happens if a faculty member wants to run a class from an airport using LessonLink and LessonLive because they're stuck traveling, but they still want to have the class. I said, well, they could do that, but if I actually hear about somebody doing that, I might retire because that would pretty much be, my work's done here. So you can use that, but this is designed to facilitate the use of lessons in the classroom. So as we'll see in the demo, you'll be able to look through and sort of watch as students respond to lessons. So it gives you real-time tracking of student results, which I think is an interesting thing in terms of sort of getting an idea of where your students are and what they're doing. Everything is already on the production website. You just can't see it yet. We'll be turning it on if you're interested in turning it on during our beta test period, which is going to start like immediately after Thanksgiving. So we'll be able to give you access to all these features that you're going to see today. If you're using LessonLink or if you're interested in using it and looking at the LessonLive features, you'll be able to do that. I will tell you ahead of time that it's like not that exciting unless you actually have students running lessons, because otherwise there's really not much to see. But you do get advanced reporting that will help you see how your students are doing as they use CALI lessons. And we feel that that LessonLive and LessonLink combined with the body of CALI lessons can be useful to our member law schools in meeting the ABA standards, especially 314 and 315 that deal with the use of assessments and with the evaluation of learning outcomes and assessment methods and that sort of thing. I mean, you're going to see a lot of data coming through this system that should allow you to actually, really get an idea of how your students are doing, at least in terms of the information on the lesson. And certainly, a lot of CALI lessons can be used as assessment tools, and the LessonLive features will be added to our auto-publish system by AALS in January, so that you could actually create small assessments with CALI Author and publish those, and then track how the students are doing those. So again, LessonLive relies on LessonLink. So that is a thing. You are going to have to use LessonLink in order to use LessonLive. And I'll give you a quick run through on LessonLink during the demo as we get going. Now again, I mentioned it's useful in the classroom and outside the classroom in terms of, like, you can sort of like peek in on your students and kind of watch how they're doing. If you've assigned the lesson, say you want the lesson done before class, you could check before class starts to see how many students have done the lesson and how they've done in it and that sort of stuff. And you might even catch some of them actually doing the lesson. I'm reminded many years ago when I was an IT director, I had an adjunct faculty member who used Twin, and at the time, and I don't know if Twin still has this set of features, but you could watch, you could see who was logged on and see what they were looking at and what they were doing in Twin. He would often come into my office. He was teaching an evening class. He would often come to my office the hour before his class met, so that, and we would watch the students, you know, actually like doing the reading and answering some questions and stuff live. You can do that sort of stuff with this too. And then the reporting that comes with LessonLive, which we call lesson passed, as opposed to like lesson dead, which we ruled that out pretty quickly as a name for the whole thing. So so the lesson passed is the reporting part, and that's going to be always available, so that you can go back and look at how the students did. So even after, you know, after the live session's over, you'll be able to do that. Let's see. Now we're going to try. Actually, now we're going to try the demo part. If the demo part works, then I don't need to show you these slides. So let's see. I think. All right. So what do I need to do? See, I haven't operated GoToWebinar on my very own in a while, so I think I need to go to this one. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so now you should be seeing a browser screen that has a list of lesson links. So, and again, this is on. We're running this on our demo site, around our development site rather right now, because even though the code is available on a production site, what we're lacking on the production site is actual data. If you go in, if you're running LessonLink right now, and you go into, and you take a look at this page in your account on LessonLink, you'll see a new column that has a details link. That's going to actually open the lesson passed report, which is a lot more detailed than the previous report. The old reports, which was just a table showing you every run and how, you know, how many, what the student's grade was for every time they did the lesson, in a sortable table on a web page, is now listed under summary right here. And then the download allows you to download a file that can be imported into an Excel spreadsheet. But if we wanted to start at the, if you're new to this, creating lesson links themselves can be is pretty straightforward. You hit the Create Lesson Link tab. You fill out the form, including you give it a course name. You know, then make it 221 since 220 will take confusing in a minute. You can add the course website if you have one. You can pick your semester. One of the things I'm working on is making the semester cutovers a little bit more flexible, because if you're a LessonLink veteran, you know that the change from current LessonLink, like the current lesson to stuff getting moved to the archive tab, is kind of abrupt and there's no warning. Yeah, I'm fixing that. Then we can select a topic. So these are the CALI. This is the CALI subject topics. So we can pick one, and then we've got then a number of title. The titles pop up, and you basically check the titles that you want to add to your lesson link set. There's a little link here that says, I'm not going to click on it because it doesn't work yet, but I'm putting back in a pop-up that'll show you the description of the lesson so that you have some idea about what the lesson covers, or what the lesson is about. So that'll be coming before the end of the year. It's in development right now. I got some kind of weird bug going on that I need to fix. But you can pick from the titles here. and click the Submit button. And then that's going to create this set of lesson links for you. And then you can have a look at, you get this page back. And at this point you can add more lesson titles, if you know, and you can pick additional topics. There's a help space here, so there's some more information about what it is you're looking at is here. The list of lesson links themselves, and if you happen to be using a Classcaster blog, which I know a couple of you are, you can actually embed, you can take this short code and actually put it into Classcaster, into your blog, and it'll actually embed the lesson inside of your Classcaster blog, and then students can click on it from there and run it. They'll still need to log in, of course, and all that other fun stuff. So, we can also clone a set of lesson links, and we will actually let me just do that real quick from over here. So, so if you want to clone, so if you want to reuse a set, and then it puts the most recent ones at the top. So this is the set that I just created. If I wanted to clone these, say I want to use these for next winter also, or something like that, I can click the clone link, and what that's going to do is that's going to set me up with a new set. So I can change the name, I can change the title. I can remove lessons, so maybe I don't want a review of joined concepts anymore, but maybe I want to add something else. So I can go in and I can pick a contracts lesson, let's say, from the list, and then I can go down, and when I hit that submit button, it's just going to save that set of lessons again. So this way, if you're using if you're teaching the same course, and using the same basic set of lessons, you know, over and over, you can create a new set without having to like sort of go through and pick through all the bits and pieces on that. Okay. So that's sort of the overview of LessonLink. The other thing that LessonLink does, it sends you an email with all of this information in it. So you'll have an email that'll tell you what the lesson links are, what the link for the course page is, and all that sort of information will be in the email, and you can copy and paste that and forward it to your students, or you know, whatever you'd like to do with that. Okay. Now, all right. So that's. So let's see, are we back? I want to go and take a look at. Okay, so so that's all fine. So that's the lesson link stuff, and that's, you know, and you can do that and let your students run the lesson links, and then take a look at the reporting and stuff, and you don't have to use LessonLive. But if you want to use LessonLive, what you do is from this page. You can use the view lesson links for this course link, or the courses link that the students use, either one of these. And what that does is that'll give you the list of lesson links. And then Sam, just a heads up, because Sam's going to play my student. But before we get into sort of well, no, actually, Sam's going to play my student, so we're going to take a look at a lesson, and then Sam's going to follow the same lesson link, hopefully, right, Sam?
That's right.
There somewhere. There he is. Thanks. Sam's going to follow along, and Sam's going to follow along, and we're going to watch what happens when we actually run a lesson live. So I'm going to open this in a new tab here. So so this is the lesson live. You'll note the giant logo up here in the upper right. It says lesson live. That's how you know that's where you're at. You'll also see that there's a heading here for participants, which is currently blank. Hopefully we'll see some stuff some stuff popping up there in a second. There's one. There's student one. Maybe there's another student lurking out there. Maybe not. Hard to tell. But there's another one. So they're referred to as student one and student two right here, and that might be fine. Maybe you just want to lurk. Maybe you just want to sort of keep all that anonymous. There is a checkbox here though that gets you to the fun part. You click reveal names. Now you notice that we will pop up a thing that's saying we're about to actually reveal names of actual living students in so if you're doing this in on a projector in class, you can't maybe you don't want to reveal everybody's name, but for the sake of this demonstration, and we put this in here so that it wouldn't just like automatically pop up people's names and people be going, oh my gosh. So this is in here as a little warning, but we're going to say yes at this point, and so now I can see the names of the students that are here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump to the table of contents so that I can get to one of the questions. Now this is a challenge in using lessons in class, right? I mean, one of the things is that frequently lessons have a lot of sort of expository material, right? There's explanations and there's hypos and there could be pictures and video and a whole bunch of different things. So you're going to have to actually review lessons and figure out exactly how you want to do this. We leave that up to you to sort out, how you might integrate the flow of things. One thing that we have done, and this is that the students, instead of seeing LessonLive, they see a logo in the upper right here that says LessonLink. When they're in the classroom with you and you're running this lesson, if they click on the LessonLink logo in the upper right, it will take them to the same page that you're on. So if you want to jump ahead in a lesson, so we want to go directly to the canine camp hypo, say. Now they can simply select that, click on the button, click on the LessonLink logo on the upper right of their screen, and it'll take them right to this page so that they don't have to like click through a whole bunch of stuff, or if they drift off, you can use that button as a way to pull everybody back into the lesson where you would like them to be. Actually, we're going to skip this one, but this is worth noting. Getting at the data and figuring out how to integrate it into the viewer is actually complicated, which is what we're working on here. So some of the lesson types are only going to show some very specific kinds of data, and they might not work exactly. I mean, it'll tell you whether or not students got the answer right or wrong, but it might not. It doesn't necessarily display it the same way as it does. This works best for multiple choice, true, false. I think some of the short answer stuff, like stuff with the sort of basic question. Sam's hard at work though at trying to figure out ways to make it all work better. So that just kind of keep watching. We're going to. I know that there are some in here somewhere. I may have picked the wrong kind. Here we go. Sam, why don't you click onto this page?
All right.
And then
I'm going to try A.
Wait, I need to click on the button, right? Whoops, wrong button. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we're seeing students. We're now seeing students responded. So we see. And they're not doing too well. No. Pick another one, Sam. Okay, there you go. So what we're looking at here, though, is that this is how it works. So the yellows indicate a sort of a maybe response, actually. So it's red is no, red is incorrect, green is correct, and then the yellow is maybe, because some questions have maybe answers. So what this does is this then shows you you can actually see the students responding in real time here, right? So these popped up as Sam answered the question. So it came, it popped right up. And I'm going to do, let's see. It's that problem. Sam is not going to let me off this page. There we go. There we go. So, and then you can get to a page that has multiple, for example, some pages have multiple questions and answers, and we can see how students respond to those too, also in in real time. This doesn't, by the way, this does not show you your answers in the reporting anymore, which used to be a thing in the older reporting for LessonLink, and so we ignore your answers and just sort of work around that. So we see, so here we see one student who you can see how they're doing on things, and there are 4 questions on here. So we see each response in the 4 shows up in the 4 categories. So you can actually see how your students did across the whole page. Sam, the students responded bar looks a little funky here, like it's not picking stuff up straight. So I'm not sure if that's this or that. I know it's worked right in the other stuff. So that's how this looks in terms of live, and then we can use the lesson pass button to look at some of the data. I'm actually going to jump to a different lesson to look at the lesson pass data. Sam, thanks for all the student input. I'm going to take a look at this lesson, which is this is a different lesson that we ran as a test, and we can see we had more participants here, so we had 7 students, and we can see some of them, 2 of them got the question right, and 2 out of the 7 got the question right. But if I click on the lesson passed link here, what that's going to do is generate a fuller report. So what we're looking at here is, we've got some basic information about the lesson that's there. We can see that it was run by 8 students. We can see that it was run 13 times. That count does include the times that a faculty member would have run it. So what the reporting is showing you here is a little bit different than the reporting that we had used before. So what we've done is we've kind of flattened multiple student runs out for this particular part of the report, so that what you're looking at is the first response to each question. So if a student runs the lesson, 4 or 5 times, you're only going to see the first response to any given question. So say they run 5 questions the first time, then and then the second time they go in, they run those 5 plus 3 more, and then the third time they go in, they run the 8 that they did before plus the final 3, right? So this report will actually flatten out all 11 answers into a single report, and it'll give you the run date of the most. Sam, which run date is it? Is it the most recent one, or? Yeah, it is. It's the first one, right? Yeah. So it shows you the first one. So there's a checkbox that allows you to expand so that you can see, for example, that this student ran ran the lesson 3 times, and so has more responses, worked through more of the lesson. And then we can actually, by clicking that, we can actually get a box that's going to let us add this information to the second part of the report, which is down here, which is basically showing us a particular set of questions. Let me get down here a little bit where it's a little bit more exciting. So this is a particular question. The number of times that it was right, students got it right, the number of times that they chose the wrong answer, and then the total, and then the percentage is the number of students who got it correct. Now we can expand this out by clicking on the response breakdown box, and then what that does is that actually shows us how students did. So if we click down here a little bit more, we can see that in some of these questions where we had multiple students running, let's see this, we had 67, here we go. So 4 got it correct, 2 got it wrong, and we can sort of see that breakdown. And then if we click the student response, we can actually see which students answered the question correctly and which students answered the question incorrectly. So in the case of that same, in the case of that same question, we can see the 4 students that got it right, and we can see the 2 students that got it wrong. So this should allow us to kind of get a little bit more in depth into things, and then and then take a look at you can get a better sense of just how your students are doing with this reporting. Now we can actually expand the reporting even a little bit further by checking. So let's say we wanted to know about this student that did it 3 times, and then also let's see, we'll pick this student here, and then what that does, by checking those, that actually adds the student to the things, so we can, to the report, so we can see, we can kind of get a side-by-side look of how students did specifically on specific questions. Okay. And then again, these have the basic reports are downloadable as CSV files that can be imported into Excel, so you can sort things and whatnot. We can do some sorting here, so we can sort by score, for example. So then the students with the highest score end up come up on top. The default is by name. So we can do that. We can do some basic sorting there. We can do the same thing in the other reports also. Okay. So that is. Sam, have I missed anything?
You can find out more about the question by clicking on the.
Yeah, right. Yes, thank you. Yeah. So one of the things we can do. Well, actually, there's 2 things we can click on, right? Because we can actually click on the student, which will take us to the student record in the system, which really doesn't tell us anything now. It's just sort of a blank profile thing, but that's available. But if you click on a particular question, let's go down to that one that we were looking at, this one. So if we click on this link for the question specifically, what it does is it takes us into. That didn't work. Sam. Oh, I knew why it didn't work. Sam did not work because of the links to www. That's weird. Well, where it should have taken us. Okay, I know what to do. Don't worry, I can fix this. The problem is they're hardwired into a specific space, and that's It'll work on production, but for right now what we're going to do is we're going to do this. So you're going to have to do, so this is the part of the show where you have to imagine along with me. So you click on the link and it takes you directly to the question in the lesson text. So lesson text is another feature that we have that basically shows you the entire lesson as a giant text file, so that you can look through it. So from those links in the lesson past reporting, it takes you directly to where the question is, so that you can review the question, as well as the results and the responses that the students see, right? So when a student selects one of these, they'll see a pop-up that contains the feedback for each question. So in that way, you can actually get in and look at the lesson, look at a question. Sometimes. So for example, you notice a question that the majority of your students got wrong. So you can look at the question and you might look at it and realize maybe it's something that you didn't quite cover in class, or maybe it's something that maybe it's a particularly difficult topic that students just didn't pick up on. Or you may look at it and go, hey, wait a minute, this question doesn't look right. In which case you get to send Sam and Deb's out there too. Get to send Sam and Deb an email going, hey, I looked at this question and it doesn't look like it's right. And then they'll take a look at it and that opens a conversation. Because that does happen. I mean, there are over 1,000 lessons. There are literally, Sam, how many questions are there?
I don't remember.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions, the tens of thousands, if not more, of lessons, of questions rather. So it's possible that the law changed or something changed and we haven't seen it yet. So, that's a reason to look at it. And also just sometimes to, as a little refresher, it's not always a bad idea. So, okay, anything else, Sam? Because if not, I think I want to open it up for questions, which I have like this tiny little box here. So I'm not exactly sure. Let's see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all the question hands. Okay. All righty. So if you have questions, and I know you do, maybe you do, raise your hand, and I'm going to try and see if I can unmute you so that you can ask your question. We'll see how that works. And we are recording this, and the recording will be available at some point. Now, the recording should be available, I think, next week. I have to figure out exactly what it is I have to do to get through the whole thing. But let me just switch back to slideshow here. And I think I'm going to flip through these slides real quick. And I think I covered everything I had slides for. Yeah. And if you have questions and you don't ask them now, you can email me or you can email Sam and ask us questions. Oh, there's one. Okay, I'm going to try and unmute John Edwards. Hi, John. You have a question? I think that worked. Oh, he doesn't have a question. Okay, here it is. He typed it in. Oh, okay. Yes, good question. What do you have to do to use LessonLive? So, right now, what you want to do is send me an email letting me know who's interested. We have a special role on the Drupal website. So you need to have an account, obviously, on the site. And the Monday after Thanksgiving, I'm going to populate that role so that people will be able to see the LessonLive thing. If you're on, I can tell you this though, bonus for anybody who's on the board of directors, and I know there are a few of you out there. You're already in that group, so you should be able to. So the board of directors, folks who are on the CALI board of directors, can already see those features. So already turned on. So yeah, so just send me an email, emasters@cali.org, and just say here's some names to add to the LessonLive set, and we'll be doing that the Monday after Thanksgiving, mostly so I don't have to answer questions during the week of Thanksgiving. So we'll start after Thanksgiving, and by then this will be up, and we'll be around to talk about it. Additionally, the reporting is available now if you're using LessonLink. So you should see that under that new details link. You can look at and the cool part about it is that it even works for old stuff, sort of. So if it works, so it definitely works for like stuff going back like 5 or 6 years. If you get past earlier than 2010, I noticed it gets a little iffy. If you want to go back and like look at the ancient LessonLink results, you can do that. It's all in there. But you can click on those detail links in LessonLink like right now to get the advanced reports. Okay. Let's see. Anyone else?
Oh, hey, Elmer, we got that number. We have 24,000 questions in our lessons.
There you go, 24,000 questions. And I'll bet you, well, yeah, that's okay, 24,000 questions. Cool. So yeah, there could be some stinkers in there. Who knows? What do you think, Sam?
No.
No, they're all awesome. Now, they are all awesome, but sometimes things shift a little bit. One other thing that if you use auto-publish, those features should be available. This should be available for auto-publish, which allows you to create your own lessons or customized lessons by the end of the year. Because I think Sam did most of his part. I have to do my part in the coding stuff to get that sorted out, but we're working on that. We're starting to work on initially on sort of a web-based way to create questions and lessons that feed into this system, so that you'll be able to just do all of this in the web and create create some multiple choice questions, and so do like assessments, do formative assessment stuff on the web, and feed into this system so you can use them live in class and get all the good reporting and stuff. Okay. Any other questions? The generally available part, by the way, I forgot to answer that. So we're going to put people in special roles so they'll have access to it, and then if all goes well, I think we're going to open it up generally around in January at ALS, unless somebody comes up with something that's like really, really just doesn't work. But we're going to continue to work on enhancements on it going forward too, so that we always want to look at making this stuff better, and we've got a sort of a better development cycle running right now to sort of deal with some of that stuff. So okay, so 2:45. It looks like this is the time. If nobody else has any other questions, last chance. Hand raises, questions, comments, concerns. The recording will go out. We'll send a follow-up email to do this. And if you're at AALS in San Francisco in January, do drop by the booth. I'll be there. and we can talk some more about this, and I can show you what what else we've got going on and that sort of stuff too. So, alrighty. All right, I'm going to call this webinar closed. Thanks, everybody.